Hi, this is David with entry number 576, 575. I don't know if you can hear it, but right now, right over there, there's a watermelon man. And if you don't know what a watermelon man is, it is a man who chooses to sell watermelons for his business. And the way that most watermelon men choose to choose to promote their business is to record themselves yelling and then playing that recording very loudly on repeat for all day, basically. So I don't know if they like the sound of their own voice, but at the end of the day, I believe they're probably sick of it. Luckily for most people, the sound of your voice isn't exactly how you hear it yourself. So I don't know. I'm gonna actually walk by because that's where I want to go. So I just was walking around this little park that I've recorded at before because I wanted to avoid him, but probably can't do that. So basically, I wanted to talk about today the idea of man. Of man. Yes, I said of man, not of woman, of man. And it kind of coincides with the fact that today is Father's Day. And what does it mean to be a man in today's world? I can tell you unequivocally that it is not the same here in Korea than it is in the US. And I think that's a good thing. I think men are different than women, and some people don't believe that, but I think it's pretty true. And I think that men should be different. They serve a different purpose than women in the world. That's not saying that they can't serve similar purposes. I'm just saying there are just things that differentiate them. And while you don't have to kind of promote the differences, you can at least recognize them and say that yes, there are differences. A lot of people, for some reason, don't think that this is the case. That these kind of things are manufactured by society to discourage women from being successful. But maybe that's true. I don't know for sure, but so what is man? What is a man? I would say man is someone who is confident in who they are, who is capable in doing many things. Used to be that a man could just be relied upon to do a multitude of tasks with their hands. So whether that be changing a tire, changing oil, barbecuing a little bit, or at least burning stuff over fire, it would be expected to know how to do some things. And I think that primarily in today's world that idea is lost. That the concept of the kind of utility man is gone. I try my hardest to kind of learn different skills and different abilities, like some plumbing, basic plumbing, some basic car maintenance, some basic cooking, stuff like that. And I would say that as a man, I'm probably more deficient than my father in that regard. But another regard of man is someone who is not afraid to, I think, really kind of be who they are and won't do a lot of equivocation. And I think this is something that is maybe not altogether lost or not altogether manly characteristic, but I think at the heart of it, when you kind of contemplate the idea of what a man is, a lot of us see that kind of caveman or man from the 50s. And I'm not saying that that's completely wrong or right, but the idea of what a man should be, I think, does evolve over time. But there are also core things that I think a man should be able to do and act, and the way they should act. And some people, especially here in Asia, have different ideas of what that is. I'll just say for a little minute that many Korean men are not men. They're soft, like really soft. They're what many Americans, I think, would call feminine, very feminine. They wear makeup, they wear like foundation or creams. They'll spend like an hour on their face every day, and or every day, morning and every night, and they'll get their hair like permed and stuff, and they'll do a lot of things that a regular American man should not do. They're also I think men here are very emotional. So crying is pretty common. But that's a big one, I think, for men, is that crying is something that it's a big no-no. And it's not just because it's like a tough thing or something, but it's something that preserves the idea of man and the concept of what that is. And it's someone who should be able to have control over their feelings, and a big part of that control is expression. And I think a lot of people, especially nowadays in the US, have kind of like this idea that it's okay to cry and stuff like that. And I'm not saying it's not okay to cry, I'm just saying that that should be something that you actively try not to do, and if it happens, then kind of it happens. But you shouldn't just feel that, as a man, you shouldn't just feel that it's okay to just weep over a movie or something like that, you know, like be able to kind of like control yourself a little more than just feeling however you want to feel at a time. And I know that might not be like super healthy, but that's kind of part of it, is that you're able to kind of harness yourself and refrain from doing these kind of things. So I know this is going a little long now, and I don't want to ramble too much, but in the last kind of piece that I'll say is that the last part of being a man, I think, is becoming a father. And being a father is just, it's something that if it happens, then you need to step up. And it's not something that, it really is just something that needs to happen. It's not something that takes courage or takes bravery. It's just something you need to do. You need to take care of your kids, provide for them, and try and raise them the best you can. And a lot of people talk about how being like scary and stuff, and I'm sure for a lot of people it is. And all I know that in my experience of not being a father, but of having a father, I can say that with 100% assurity that my experiences have been nothing less than stellar. And I was talking the other day about my parents and about my dad, and just every time I hear other people's childhood, it's like a night and day difference. And it's just like, it makes me, every time it makes me feel that much more kind of proud, and that much more thankful that I got the kind of childhood that I did, and I got the kind of father that I did. So in that regard, I'll end it there. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk with you tomorrow. Bye. couple days. Bye.